My close friend has been secretly recording my husband when he's not looking to promote her social media page because hot guys get a lot of engagement and go viral very fast, but I'm very creeped out, and I think she's actually been thirsting for him. I, 28F, am friends with this girl, let's call her June, also 28F. In fact, my husband, 32M, and I often hang out with June and her boyfriend, i.e., go on double dates, take weekend trips, etc. We've known each other for over 2 years. I would say the four of us were pretty tight as a group, up until this weekend. My husband is an orthodontist. One of his patients is June's half-sister, Rhea, 12F. June is often the one accompanying Rhea to her dental appointments. June is also a small-time online influencer. She's always recording, vlogging, and stuff. My husband and I have made it clear to her that we're absolutely not okay with our faces appearing in her vlogs, and she seemed to respect that boundary. We don't use social media, apart from Reddit, and we trusted her word when she said she wouldn't post us online. Cut to last weekend, my brother sent me this TikTok link with a message, "Dude, you gotta watch this." I opened the link, and it directed me to June's TikTok account. She doesn't have many followers, less than 10K, but the particular video he sent me had like 500,000 views or likes, I'm not sure which. Lo and behold, it was a video compilation of my husband with the title, "God, I see what you've done for others." The video was honestly the creepiest thing I've ever seen. She had recorded my husband during various of our double dates, and it was clear he wasn't even aware he was being recorded. In some of the clips, she would start with her face and then pan the camera toward my husband with a cutesy expression, mouthing words like, "Oh my God." The worst one was where he was working on her half-sister, Rhea, wearing scrubs, and she had recorded even that. She didn't even bother to blur out the kid's face while she was lying on the dental chair. I showed the video to my husband, and he was horrified. He said it made him feel so uncomfortable and violated, knowing that someone had been secretly recording him. He was angry that she'd recorded him working on a patient. He texted her, asking her to take down the video and delete every video she has of him. First, she feigned ignorance. Then she said she meant no harm and that it was all for online engagement since, I quote, "TikToks with hot guys go viral very fast," and that she'd gained a lot of followers after posting that. This was also weird, but my husband and I got our families and friends to report the video, and thankfully it's being taken down now. This pissed off June, and she sent me a lengthy text saying how I was jealous of her online success and that I couldn't stand seeing her succeed, etc. I replied, saying, "You're delusional and unhinged. You're not successful and you'll never be. Stay away from us, you creepy weirdo." Now she's all weepy and depressed and has been telling our mutual friends how mean I was to her. She's also been posting about mental health on her socials and about how mean some women are with their words. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. People who think online engagement is more important than basic human decency are, sadly, not at all uncommon. They are, as you say, delusional and unhinged. Their success is not real, and except in a very few cases, it never will be. Ops response. It's psychotic, honestly. My husband is so freaked out about this. I feel so bad for him. Commenter 2. You and your husband had set clear boundaries, and she violated those boundaries. This shows that she does not respect y'all at all. I recommend cutting her off entirely, as anyone who disturbs your peace is not worth your time. Ops response. Yes, we're cutting her off entirely. I don't know if her boyfriend is aware of this or not, but I guess he'll have to be collateral damage, because I don't want her to weasel her way back into our lives. Commenter 3. He needs to ban her sister, your former friend, from the room while he is treating the patient. He should also have a female staff member assist him and act as a chaperone in case your friend tries to make baseless accusations. Ops response. There's a rule in his practice that a female dental assistant has to be present whenever the male doctors are working on female patients, since most of the patients are young kids or teens and they might be more comfortable with a woman around. Even in the video she posted, there is a woman assisting my husband. He's reached out to the kids' parents. They're being given 2 choices, either they chaperone their daughter, or they need to find a different orthodontist. I really hope it doesn't come to baseless accusations, though. Update 2 days later. I don't want to make another post for the same thing, and I doubt I'll be updating again. My husband's practice reached out to Rhea's parents and informed them about the situation via email, as they wanted everything documented, like I mentioned in the comments. The parents have responded. They are shocked and very, very apologetic. They've agreed to chaperone Rhea to her appointments instead of June. They wanted to meet my husband personally to apologize, but he informed them that it won't be necessary. June's TikTok video is still in the process of being taken down. No new updates on that. I guess she contested the reports or something, I'm not entirely sure. My husband and I have blocked her. My brother is keeping an eye on her account, though, just in case she posts something else about us. We'll see what to do when it happens. We're going to consult a lawyer if she bothers us again in the future. My husband is kind of shaken up upset annoyed about this whole thing. He's taken some days off from work, and so have I. We'll plan a trip somewhere, maybe, to take his mind off of these things. Right now, I need to be there for him. I won't be posting anything for now. We haven't contacted her boyfriend yet. My husband is not in the right headspace right now, and I feel it'll be better if we focus on ourselves for the time being. We don't want the added headache of how the boyfriend will react, or if he's in on this or whatever. We'll inform him after some time. I know this is selfish, but I think it's for the best. Thank you all for the responses. Second update 1 month later. I genuinely hoped I wouldn't be updating this story again, but life had other plans. We thought the drama was done, but nope. We filled June's boyfriend in on everything, and he was shocked, hurt, and confused. Turns out June managed his social media, and he had no clue what she was posting. He thanked us, and we thought that was it. But then he asked to meet up, saying he needed to discuss something. To be honest, we were extremely hesitant to meet with him. We were so done with the drama and didn't want to get sucked back in. But he seemed genuinely concerned and willing to listen, so we agreed. At the meeting, he revealed he'd confronted June. She broke down, professed her love, and claimed her obsession with my husband was for social media clout. Apparently, his total package made for great content. When he asked to see her phone, she refused. So he checked her laptop and found hundreds of sneaky photos and videos of my husband. And, for laughs, she had pics of me looking my absolute worst, mouth open while eating, weird faces, etc. I think I'm pretty good looking, but these photos were the opposite. It's like she wanted to prove a point about my husband's ugly wife. June's boyfriend dumped her. But honestly, we're even more freaked out now. The scale of her obsession is terrifying. Hundreds of photos and videos? That's not just a crush, that's fixation. The thought of her escalating to something more is keeping us up at night. As a small consolation, June's boyfriend made her delete the videos from her social media and laptop. But God knows how many more copies she has. Despite June not reaching out after all this went down, we're still on high alert. Her radio silence is kinda unnerving, and we're bracing ourselves for whatever might come next. Hopefully, it is in fact just for social media clout, not some weird baby reindeer type obsession with my husband. It's kinda unsettling how she was friends with me for over 2 years, we hung out often, we've gone on weekend trips with her and her boyfriend, we have so many mutual friends, and yet no one knew she was doing this behind our backs. Either I'm bad at reading people or she's very good at being sneaky and deceptive. I'm also mentally kicking myself for not realizing that someone was taking pictures of me. I feel like my husband and I both need to be less dumb and more aware of our surroundings. On a brighter note, Rhea's parents are super thankful to my husband for still treating Rhea after everything. That's it for now. Hopefully, this is really the end. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. Wow, just wow. I would take all the evidence and a statement from the ex to a lawyer and get some type of restraining order requiring her to stay away and remove all social media content of you two. She seems unhinged and needs to stay away. This makes me think of a stalker movie, and you guys need to change things before the movie has a bad ending. Ops response. We're going to be talking to a lawyer to see what options we have. Our apartment has 24-hour security, so I doubt she can do anything there. I'm more worried about our workplaces, to be honest. Commenter 2. Did her ex check to see if she backed up the photos to the cloud or Google Drive? Stalkers tend to keep photos in multiple places. It's what makes their obsession so threatening, they don't want to give up what they consider should be theirs. Ops response. He did what he could. I'm sure she has many copies of the pics, though. Third update 1 week later. I really didn't want to update this situation, but things have taken a seriously dark turn. When I posted about June's thing for my husband a month ago, I thought it was just some weird crush. Now, it's just flat out terrifying. The day after my last post, my husband got a super creepy message from a random number. You have got it all wrong. Please meet me. I'll make you understand. We freaked out. Lawyers and cops are on it, trying to get a restraining order. Both our workplaces have ramped up security, and we've warned friends and family to keep an eye out. This whole thing is destroying my husband's mental health. He's anxious 24/7, wondering if he's being followed. He's stopped going to work because the feeling of being watched is overwhelming. We're trying to prioritize his safety. And honestly, it's breaking my heart. The other night, he broke down in tears. I've never seen him cry before. It was shattering. He's been talking to a therapist online, trying to cope with the stress and anxiety. But even that's not easing his mind. He's consumed by fear for my safety, constantly worrying that June will harm me to get to him. We're covering our bases, security cams, dash cams, etc., and I've scoured our home twice for any hidden devices. Thank God, all clear. If things get worse, we're prepared to up and move. Honestly, it's better to have a life in a different state than be dead here. It's heartbreaking to think about leaving our friends, family, and everything behind, but we'll do what it takes to stay safe. Some of the advice on here was really helpful, and I've done most of what was suggested. If anyone, has any more insights, please share. I'm desperate at this point. Fourth update 3 weeks later. I've been sharing some updates on a pretty unsettling situation we've been dealing with. Editor's note: Op recapped her previous posts here, so I'm skipping to the new information. After not hearing from June for 3 weeks, things took a really creepy turn on Friday. We hadn't heard a word from her, so we both got a little more relaxed about the whole situation. We went back to work, and everything seemed fine, but turns out, we were wrong. My husband went to the store after work to grab some groceries. He had no idea June was following him, but when he got to the parking lot, there she was. As soon as he saw her, he tried to get to his car as quickly as possible, but she was already closer and blocked the way to the door. He tried to walk away, but she stepped in front of him, begging him to talk to her. She kept saying it was just a harmless crush and that she'd leave us alone if he'd just listen. She even said, "Please, talk to me." He didn't respond and kept trying to walk away, but she wouldn't let him. She begged again and reached into her coat pocket. My husband heard a metallic sound and instantly thought she might be pulling out a weapon. In a split second, he grabbed her hand to stop her and pushed her away with force. She lost her balance and fell down, but he didn't stick around. He quickly jumped in his car and sped off as fast as he could. Thankfully, she didn't follow him. After getting away, my husband immediately contacted the police. They managed to get security footage from the parking lot, and it shows 2 people, a man and a woman, running towards the car. After a short while, the man pushes the woman down and quickly gets in the car, speeding off. The footage wasn't super clear, but it shows the general sequence of events. Of course, it's still not totally clear what she was planning or what she had on her, but the situation was extremely tense. We've been trying to get a restraining order against her, and hopefully this time we'll get it, but we're not entirely sure how things will unfold now. We're also moving to my parents' home country for a while just to feel safer and take a step back from everything. It's going to be tough rebuilding our lives from scratch, but I guess that's what's in our destiny. So yeah, that's where we're at. This whole situation is terrifying, and we're just trying to keep our heads straight and stay safe. I'll keep you all posted if anything else happens, but for now, we're just trying to lay low and handle this as best we can. Top/relevant comments. Commenter: It's horrifying that people do stuff like this. Stay strong. Ops response: I know. This whole thing made me do a deep dive on stalking, and it's horrifying how many people go through this. I mean, the statistics are insane. Commenter: I moved to get away from a stalker. But the Netherlands is small, one doesn't have to lose everything because of moving. I'm so glad you have one another to lean on in these trying times. Ops response: Sadly, we're going to have to move continents. Anyway, better that than becoming murder victims. Commenter 3. Madness needs to be confined for everyone's safety. This woman should be in an inpatient program until she sorts it out, if ever. Ops response: Sadly, they only take action when someone is seriously hurt or dead. Commenter 4. Holy crap, I hope your husband is feeling okay. Might be best if you both travel together and do shopping together, so this creep can't ambush your husband if he's alone. Ops response: My husband's been really distressed and closed off lately. He used to be calm and easygoing, but now he's pulled back, mostly focused on making sure I'm okay. He doesn't talk much about what he's going through, and it feels like he's carrying the weight of this whole situation on his own. He's been talking to his therapist, and he was making some progress. But after everything that just happened, it feels like he's back to square one. Fifth update 8 months 2 weeks later. Previous posts are on my account. It's been a while since I posted. A lot has happened since then, and honestly, I don't even know how to make sense of any of it anymore. Editor's note: Op recapped her previous posts here, so I'm skipping to the new information. We involved the police, tried to get a restraining order, increased security, and nearly relocated. This was around 9 months ago. We didn't end up relocating. Things eventually calmed down. June's parents actually came over and apologized. They told us she checked herself into a mental rehab facility. She's been diagnosed with some stuff. I'm not going to get into the details, but apparently she's doing better now. She even messaged us months later and apologized. It seemed genuine. We accepted it, but we've kept no contact, and she's respected that. She's still in therapy and being monitored, from what I've heard. But yeah, that's not the part that messed me up. My husband and I are getting a divorce. After everything we went through, I really thought it would bring us closer. I stood by him when he was falling apart. I handled everything, I looked after him, I took care of things, I stayed calm when he couldn't. I thought we were solid. 2 months ago, he told me he wanted a divorce. Just like that. There was no fight or lead up. I asked why, and he just shrugged and said he needed to move on. I asked if something had happened or if I had done something wrong, and he just stared at me like I was speaking another language. He wasn't even interested in explaining. Looking back, he started changing around 5 or 6 months ago. It wasn't sudden exactly, but it was steady. He stopped checking in on me, and he stopped talking unless it was about day-to-day stuff. I kept thinking maybe it was the aftershock of everything we'd been through. That maybe he was just processing everything in his own way. But now I don't know. I honestly don't know what I was looking at. He went from crying and breaking down in my arms last year to being a jerk a few months later. And I still don't understand what changed. And yeah, I've thought about whether there's someone else. There was this one time I saw him staring at the WhatsApp profile pic of one of the junior dentists at his clinic. He didn't know I was behind him. I asked what he was looking at, and he said her dog. She's absolutely gorgeous, super confident, bubbly, the kind of person who lights up a room. And they had this natural chemistry, I've seen it with my own eyes. Nothing I could really call out, nothing inappropriate, but it was there. I didn't think much of it at the time. I trusted him a lot. Maybe I was just stupid enough to believe he was actually looking at the dog and not the young, beautiful woman in the photo. Maybe stupid enough to think that my husband was different from the other men who cheated on their wives. Maybe it's a coincidence that she broke up with her longtime boyfriend at the same time. Or maybe it's nothing. Maybe I just want there to be a reason, because honestly, the way he flipped on me out of nowhere doesn't make sense. I still don't get it. I feel like I'm missing something. He's already filed and moved out. We barely speak. He's like a stranger now. And I'm just trying to keep it together. I've been drinking more than I should. I know it's not the answer, but it's what I've been doing to get through the days. I'll sort myself out eventually. I just don't know when. That's where I'm at. I don't know if I'll update again. Thanks to the people who've been following this whole thing. /relevant comments. Commenter. Sounds like he projected his trauma onto your relationship and maybe even unconsciously blamed you for the stalking because she was your friend. That's not fair to you at all. I'm sorry things turned out this way for you. Ops response. I understand that. But if that's really the case, then there were better ways to handle it. I suggested therapy, couples counseling, literally everything I could think of, and he was adamant he didn't need any of it. He's had his own therapist this whole time, but I have no idea what's actually being talked about in there. I wasn't included. I wasn't even considered. So if something was going on with him, he chose not to let me in. Commenter 2. A lot of people want to demonize the husband. We will never know what made him want the divorce, but just saying, a creepy woman posted him on the internet without his consent. And then his wife posted about him on the internet without his consent. This story was very popular. It wouldn't surprise me if the husband saw a random TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, etc. about it, or even someone sending him the link with, "Hey, weren't you being stalked by June?" Commenter 3. Yeah, this part really screams out to me. I asked if something had happened or if I had done something wrong, and he just stared at me like I was speaking another language. That's the reaction of someone who has clearly not been listened to. Makes me think we're not getting the full story here. Commenter 4. One of her comments also reads strangely to me. He's had his own therapist this whole time, but I have no idea what's actually being talked about in there. I wasn't included. I wasn't even considered. So if something was going on with him, he chose not to let me in. The way this is worded is so ambiguous as to whether she's just stating it factually, or she feels entitled to have been included and has some frustration that she was prevented from knowing his private therapy discussions. Particularly the sentence "I wasn't even considered" is rather off-putting. Maybe there's a reason for that and why he didn't feel comfortable opening up to her, and maybe he realized that in therapy. In another comment, she also describes how his mental health became her full-time job. Depending on what that actually looked like, it could have been as harmful as it was helpful, if she was so caught up in her own feelings about what she thinks he needed or what would make him feel better. Maybe there could have been moments he asked for some space or time to be alone, but she insisted on trying to get him to talk things out or be there to comfort him. She could have been a paragon of empathy and did everything right, but some of what she says and how she narrates it definitely opens up the interpretation that she might have been focused on the wrong things, and not actually providing him the support she thought she was. The husband himself could also just be selfish and inconsiderate here. Maybe he is cheating, maybe he's just changed, and she did everything right and he's just ungrateful or insecure. But I can also imagine a man going through such a terrifying and traumatic experience for months from his wife's friend, only for her to not truly listen to or properly understand his feelings and needs as much as she thinks, instead making him feel even more isolated and alone despite her sincere efforts.